Hello, everyone. I am joined here by Steve from TransLink, and he is the VP of Communications, Brand Marketing at TransLink here in British Columbia. And not only are they one of the province's top employers, but they move an estimated 500,000 people each day through their systems. And I really just wanted to host Steve on for an interview to hear his advice to young professionals navigating the world of marketing and communications. And so, without further ado, great to have you here, Steve.
Hi, Joel. Hi, thanks for having me on. Hi to all of your viewers, and happy to always talk about marketing and communications and transit systems if you want to delve into that. But I know we want to talk about marketing and communications today, and I love to talk about it. And happy to chat some more.
Perfect. So, first question to get to, regarding the world of 2020, where a lot of people are moving online, remote, and just the flurry of news and notifications can often be overwhelming. I'm curious, as a professional, marketing leader such as yourself, what would be one piece of advice you'd share for people navigating the landscape of marketing and how it's evolving, especially this year?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question, and it's easy to chase likes and chase the attention economy, as it's called. But I think you really have to dive into all of these various platforms and channels and opportunities that we have to communicate with people and really understand them all and really understand what they're for. And that's really critical, and I think it's really important that your viewers out there are really thinking through and understanding each of the platforms that we have. Yes, you've got TikTok out there, and that's the latest thing, but the latest thing may not always be the right way to go. You've got experiential marketing, like great experiences make a huge difference to your audience. If you think about what we did last year, we hosted a major presence at the PNE, which is a big exhibition here in Vancouver. And it was a massive effort for us, and we created a huge presence there. And it was touch and feel, right? It was an opportunity for us to see people face to face, talk to them face to face, and give them an experience they otherwise wouldn't have, with virtual reality glasses and maps and quizzes and prizes and cars, and it was really and new buses, and it was a really neat way for us to communicate with people. Don't forget that live experience. Don't forget that hands-on experience.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget your CEO. Your CEO is your chief spokesperson. They have a huge voice in the community. They have a huge voice in your market. Think about how you're using your CEO. Think about influencers. Who do you want to be speaking on your behalf? Who do you want out there as representing your brand? Because that's what it's about. They're representing your brand. So when you think about people that you want out there as the face of your organization, make sure you're thinking that through. In our case, we brought on Seth Rogen for one campaign a couple of years ago that some of your viewers might remember. And that was a huge win for us because it really elevated the visibility of our brand and elevated a feeling amongst our customers that, hey, this is actually kind of a cool thing to do. Taking transit is a thing to do in Vancouver. And as you mentioned, we transport 500,000 people every single day. And we are considered one of the most transit friendly cities in North America. And that was playing into that idea. So we really thought through how we're trying to build up our brand and how we're trying to attract our customers to really feel good about using our service. Think through all of those platforms and all of those tools, and just don't go for the latest thing.
That's a great point, and I love that example you mentioned about bringing in a well-known influencer to help the area better understand the brand that TransLink is. Regarding resources in terms of stretching people's ability to learn and understand the world of marketing and communications, is there a top book, newsletter, or stream of kind of information that you like to recommend people pay attention to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, I always like to say that 80% of success in marketing, 80% of success in communications is actually research.
Mm.
It's knowing your subject better than anybody else,
Mm.
knowing your audience better than anybody else. So research is really, really important. Always keep that in mind. That's just one thing I wanted to say for your
Yeah.
review. Really understand what your work is, your brand, your company, your offering, and understand your audience.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a number of channels. There's a number of ways you can keep up with the profession. There's some great newsletters out there. E-newsletters, I think, are a great way to learn more about whatever subject you're diving into. And I am a big believer in diving deeply into whatever topic you want to dive into. I would look at a newsletter called CMO Moves.
Mm.
That's produced by Adweek, I believe, and they have some fantastic interviews with some of the top marketing leaders around the world. Always insightful, always a good way to catch up with that. I think it's available on LinkedIn. Remember that your job when you're in marketing and communications is to link your industry, your sector, your business with your audience. So
Mm.
you need to understand both, right? And that's
Mm.
really critical that you dive in and deeply learn your own sector. What
Yeah.
are people talking about? What are people talking about in real estate? What are people talking about in finance? What are people
Mm.
talking about in tech? What's the latest news? What are the latest trends? Really understanding that and then connecting that with your audience and
Mm.
explaining that to your audience. That's your job. And you need to do both.
Love that. And yeah, as mentioned, I'm a big fan of that newsletter. So I definitely agree that research is most of the battle to just be equipped enough to have a good conversation. And then that kind of tactability side comes at that finished 20% where you can kind of pivot your thinking as needed. Regarding kind of the last question for you, Steve, we're in a time where the talent pool is now kind of opened up on a global capacity. If you're graduating in Vancouver, you're now up against people in San Francisco, New York, Australia, because the workforce is now remote, and the world of kind of social media marketing and brand is kind of opening up in ways unlike before. And I'm curious to ask, what couple tips would you share for young grads that are looking to position themselves for a good career in this field?
Yeah, first of all, that sounds really daunting. I mean, it's true, it's correct that we are in a very globally connected world, and that, yeah, you can work with marketers and communicators right around the world. That's absolutely true.
Mm.
And that sounds really daunting, but don't be daunted by that. Most organizations are still going to look fairly locally for their hires and want to work with people locally. They still want to work with people that they can see face to face,
Mm.
and that's very important quality. And I think about three things just professionally. Here's the three things I would advise people to really work on. Number one is their writing.
Mm.
Become a really good writer. Be able to articulate yourself in a written way. It shows how you think. It shows how you think through problems. If you can write better, you've got a massive advantage over everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, be proactive. People like myself are always looking for new ideas. And we want young people to come to us with new ideas, even if they don't work out, even if they don't end up being great ideas. The passion you show, and the interest you show in coming up with new ideas will make me next time go, well, hold on. Why don't we ask Joel about that? He had some good ideas. Let's test it out on him. And that's a huge barrier to overcome for any professional, is to start getting listened to. So be proactive in what you're doing. The third thing is build your network, right? Build your network, meet people outside your immediate field, get to know people in your field, but also think about outside your field. Find every possible way to meet people, talk to them, find a way to communicate with them and have a conversation with them. Share ideas, share links, build your network, because I'm way more likely to hire somebody that I've already met and talked to and seen some work from than somebody I've never met before. So get visibility and start meeting people.
Love those tips. Super insightful advice. And thanks again for wanting to share your time with us today, Steve. Lastly, where can people kind of follow more maybe what you're doing or TransLink's doing as they leave this interview today?
I'm always happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. Please follow me there. I try to keep a good presence. I'm also on Twitter. TransLink.ca is a great Twitter account, great LinkedIn feed. We're on Instagram, and we're on just about every platform you can imagine. We even do an occasional TikTok video, but we're not deeply into it quite yet.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks again so much, and looking forward to seeing you around the city when time allows.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for the time.